And we are here with a new franchise mode in FHM 8. And this one is going to be an expansion franchise mode. We have the Nova Scotia Supernovas. And of course, had to go with the space theme. So the Utica Comets are our minor league team. I have already set the New Jersey Devils minor league team to be the Albany Devils instead, as Utica was their former affiliate. But like I said, had to go with the space theme, so the Utica Comets made sense. And obviously, given that we are an expansion team, we do not have any players right now. So we do have the expansion draft coming up soon, but before that, I do have one player I want to sign right off the bat, and that is Logan Cash. He's 21 years of age from Halifax, Nova Scotia. That is right, the local kid. He's not that great, only a half-star ability, 1.5-star potential, but it's something. And we may as well start out our franchise by signing our first player ever, who just happens to be from Halifax. So there you go, Logan Cash. Hopefully he accepts our offer. Don't see why he wouldn't. I've already gone ahead and signed all the stuff I want. The head coach for the time being is Paul Maurice. This is what his stats look like. Got some good assistant coaches in there. Sergei Gonchar, Jamie Langenbrunner are among them. Got a full scouting team, got everything we need. So I think it is time to get into the expansion draft. Okay, so free agent I just came across. This guy, Martin Bakos, he's the highest ability currently in free agency, or at least according to this. I mean, it's the e-scouting, so he may not be a 2.5-star ability, but if he is, he'd be a good signing. And not only that, his city of birth has Nova in it. So he's asking for 2 years, $820,000. That is all right with me. So there you go. Our first two players approached. Here we go, expansion draft time. So Devon Taves is the top player available. He's from Colorado, so I'm going to make sure not to choose anyone else from Colorado. We do have the goalie rounds first. And here we are at the start of the preseason. Already went through the expansion draft. And here is a look at our roster. We have 33 players currently. Obviously, that's going to change, but we're going to go through preseason and see who simulates the best. So in goal, we have Vanacek, Swayman, and Montembeault. And then here's a look at our defense. You have Taves, Dumba, Graves, Manson, Fabro, Pesci, McNabb, Ferraro, and Liljegren. Then at forward, you have Verhage, Zucker, Saad, Pearson, Kara, Pajot, Corrali, Lindblom, Goudreau, Colton, Lowry, Stevens, Beagle, Vogel, Sanford, Kajula, Bakos, Moore, Pitlick, Kiviranta, and Cash. And of course, as we saw earlier, Bakos and Cash were both free agent signings. Cash, the local kid from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So we're going to go through preseason now and see who makes the cut. Okay, so Ross Colton didn't really impress me. Gonna flip him to the Blue Jackets for a fourth. 25, he had a 60 defensive grade, 54 offensive grade. Lowry really did not have a good preseason, but I'm gonna hope, just because of his contract, that he has a better regular season. I think I'm gonna trade Beagle as well. He was pretty much holding the team back offensively with that 50 offensive grade. He has a no trade clause. I didn't see that. That's unfortunate. Well, guess I have to just send him to the AHL then. I mean, that's fine. With his no-trade contract, I doubt any team will be claiming him, so could always be some depth that we call up in an emergency. Wait, does Lowry have a no-trade contract too? He does. So yeah, I really hope Lowry can turn it around. Yeah, I think Kara's going to be trade bait here. Presuming he doesn't have a no-trade contract. Yeah, okay, we're good there. But he does have the 3-star ability. And he's not exactly one of the best simulators on the team. And he's 27, so I think I would like to try to get something for him. Yeah, kind of figured. We can get a third for Kara. Although it is from Toronto and it's for next year, so I'm not sure how valuable that actually is. But nonetheless, it is an asset for the future. Hate to say it, but Lindblom did not live up to expectations either. At least not offensively, so I think I'm going to be dealing him as well. Albin Sunsvik from Anaheim. Or at least they have his rights. He's looking pretty good. I mean, we don't have any ratings on him because we don't have him scouted. But on the consensus, he is a 1-star ability and a 3-star potential. And that's about all I can get for Lindblom. So I guess it'll just have to be Lindblom for Sunsvik. Now, hopefully all those teams respond to the trades that I've sent pretty quickly here because the season starts, I believe, in about 2 or 3 days. Okay, Anaheim accepted. So Lindblom for the rights to Sunsvik. There it is. Ooh, unfortunately, Mario Ferraro was claimed on waivers. I had to send him down to the AHL. I was hoping he would clear. That is unfortunate. Okay, so Ross Colton to the Blue Jackets for a fourth has been accepted. Although unfortunately, we are still one player over the roster limits and it is the start of the season. And it doesn't appear that anyone's waiver eligible here, except for maybe Swayman, who we can't really send down anyway. I guess I'll just have to hope that Kiviranta clears, because I don't really feel like sending anybody else down. 2.5 star and above, there's a pretty good chance they'll get claimed. I mean, I guess Lowry won't get claimed, and if he does, then we'd get a no trade clause off our hands, but I highly doubt it. And at the same time, I don't want Lowry to just sit down there in the AHL and have no shot at proving his worth, because he's kind of got a long contract. I kind of want him on the NHL team. Although the problem is with Lowry that he's one of our only 4 centers on the roster right now. At least one of only 4 natural centers. So, yeah, I guess I'll send Kiviranta down for right now, just until that last trade goes through. So there you go. At least for right now, this is our final roster. And now we will go through year number 1 with your Nova Scotia Supernovas. All right, so our trade for Jujhar Khaira to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a third has been accepted. We will go through with it. Score was 6-3 against Toronto in our first game ever. Shots are 30-28. 3 stars a game. Gaudreau, Khaira, who we literally just traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I didn't even realize that. And then Saad as well. So the first goal in team history, Warren Foegele from Sean Corrali and Jason Zucker at 10:01 of the first period. I believe Kiviranta has just gotten the first hat trick in franchise history as he has 3 goals against Dallas, his former team. All right, so we're halfway through the season now. We're not in the position that I thought we would be. We're 24-17-7. So I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with the trade deadline yet. I think that's going to be a last minute decision, honestly. Although I know for a fact that I'm not going to be making too many crazy trades because we can't really afford to do that. We don't have too many assets. So if anything, we're probably unloading some players, but I'm just going to wait and see what happens as we get closer to the deadline because this team's done all right so far. So I want to give them a chance to, make the playoffs this year. When we win games, it certainly is not our offense. I'll say that much. Brandon Saad currently leads our team with 35 points in 44 games. After that, it's Pajot with 32. Then you have Corrali with 26, 23 for Verhaeghe and Lowry. Yeah, not a whole lot of scoring going on here. And then in goal, you have Swayman with a .917 save percentage in 26 games. Montembeault with 1 game played and a .964. And then currently injured is Vanacek, and he has a .916 in 24 games. All right, so we're around the trade deadline. I do actually have one trade that I want to make. It's going to be to Seattle, and it's going to be Mitchell Stevens for Calgary's 4th round pick. Stevens is a 2.5 star ability, more of a defensive player, and he hasn't been that good as far as his overall grade goes. As we have a look at the roster, he's got the 2nd lowest grade on the team, lowest out of all forwards, and he's one of the few guys with 1 year left on his deal who I can actually trade because all the other ones, such as Beagle and Manson, are on no trade contracts and they don't want to move. So Stevens to Seattle for Calgary's 4th round pick, finalize. But besides that, I think that's honestly about it because we're not in the worst position right now. I mean, we're outside the playoffs, but there's still a realistic chance we could make it. I'm not saying we will, but it's possible. We're only 3 points back of the New York Rangers, although they do have 2 games in hand, so it's going to be tough. But with the way we've been simulating, it's possible. It's certainly possible. We've had some real solid performances as of late. Of course, we went into this break losing games against Minnesota and Washington, but then we had solid games against Vegas and Winnipeg before that, so it could honestly go either way. If we make the playoffs, great. If not, oh well. I just want to see what happens here in this first season before we make any definitive decisions going into the offseason. Carter Verhaeghe goes down with a ruptured bicep tendon for 7 months. That is, I believe, possibly going into preseason of next season. It's March 16th now. I think the wild card is starting to get out of reach. We're now 8 points behind the Rangers. They have a game in hand. It's not looking good. I mean, you could have predicted that at the start of the season, but given how well the team was simulating in general, I wanted to give us a chance to make the playoffs, but at the same time, I didn't want to make any trades that wouldn't make sense for the future. So with that, let's just make our way to the end of the season. And we have finished the season 37-37-8, 82 points, not even close to the wild card. So that's definitely unfortunate, but does mean a better draft pick. So speaking of which, let's see where we were in the league. 23rd. Okay, I mean, for our first season, that's not bad. So let's check out the end of season stats for year number 1 with your Nova Scotia Supernovas. On the injury list, you have Verhaeghe with 33 points in 67 games. And leading our team in points for the season is Jean-Gabriel Pajot with 57 points in 72 games. Then you have Saad with 55, 30 goals. And he was by far our best goal scorer. So definitely happy I picked him in the expansion draft, although Since he's 29, I'm not sure how long he'll be sticking around. Then you have Zucker with 42, 39 for Fogle, 36 for Lowry, 35 for Taves, 33 for Corrali, 26 for Pearson and Sanford, 25 for Bakos, 24 for Dumba and Graves, 20 for Goudreau, 18 for Kajula, Manson, and McNabb, 16 for Pesci, 12 for Fabro, and 10 for Beagle. And in goal, you have Swayman with a 920 save percentage in 47 games played, and you have Vanacek in 36 games played with a 911. So overall, this was, I would say, before the season started, this was better than I expected to finish. So it's definitely a solid starting point, but depending on what we do in the offseason, we may or may not be worse next year. Let's take a quick look around the league. So leading the league in goals is Alex DeBrincat with 52. Then for assists, you have Mitch Marner with 67, tied with McDavid. Points, Draisaitl leads the way with 105, McDavid with 103. Shots, Draisaitl with 364. Ryan O'Reilly with a 41 plus minus. Jordan Staal led the league in faceoffs with a 60.8. Adam Boqvist with 280 shots blocked. Tom Wilson with 163 penalty minutes. Then you have DeBrincat with 24 power play goals and Danault with 3 shorties. Then in goal, wins, you have Binnington with 47. Goals against average, you have Binnington with a 2.13. Save percentage, you have Kemper with a 926. Binnington had 8 shutouts. And the goals saved above average leader was Korpisalo with a 25.32. And the Stanley Cup champions are the Dallas Stars. They win against the New York Rangers in 5 games. Okay, so it's June 1st now. I think players who I'm not re-signing are Pitlick, Beagle, and Manson. And now who I am going to sign is Albin Sunsvik, as his signing deadline is coming up soon. And there it is. He has joined your Nova Scotia Supernovas. Still only a 1-star ability, but he is 21. He's still got a few more years left of development. And here we go. Time for the awards. So for the Tedlands, you have Connor McDavid. The Ross, you have Leon Draisaitl. The Maurice Richard, you have Alex DeBrincat. For the Lady Byng, you have Sam Reinhart. For the Bill Masterton, you have Matt Zuccarello. For the Mark Messier Leadership Award, you have Alex Pietrangelo. And for the Jennings, you have Jordan Binnington. Now for the Hearts, you have Connor McDavid. The Conn Smythe, Artemi Panarin. So even though the Rangers lost, Panarin gets the Conn Smythe. Interesting. And the Calder, you have Arttu Russalainen of St. Louis. For the Norris, you have Shea Theodore. 83 points. Wow. For the Selke, you have Alexander Barkov. For the Vezina, you have Jordan Binnington. Executive of the Year, you have Doug Armstrong. And for the Jack Adams, you have Craig Berube. And here we go. Last day of the season. Take a look at our season summary. I cannot imagine it'll be pretty. Yeah, we got a total season score of 10. We didn't get any positive categories, and we got 1 negative category in failing to reach the playoffs. So the positive here is that we got a season score of 10, meaning we have available points. So I think I'll put those points into negotiating. And now we will advance to July 1st. Okay, so we're on July 1st now. And before we end things off, there is one guy in free agency who has caught my eye. That is Ivan Lodnia. He is 22 and he is a UFA. He played in the AHL last year, 48 points in 76 games played. I don't know how good he is, but he's 22. And if he actually is a 2.5-star ability like the consensus says, he'd be worth giving a shot to. So there you go, Ivan Lodnia has been offered. And I think for right now, that's all I really want to do in free agency. Now, do I want to make any trades? Probably, but I'm going to wait until next time to make them. So with that, we're all done here for this one. And the next one, we'll hopefully get through the whole offseason at the very least, if not some or all of the year number 2 simulation as well.